Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is the second movie of the rebooted Ninja Turtles. But as we all know, these turtles aren't really built into their box office prestige anyways, because it's all about that merch with these ninjas. Now, full disclosure, I did skip the first TMNT movie this time around. I just figured I'd already seen enough Megan Fox and Michael Bay to last a lifetime. But the trailers for the sequel caught my eye like they did with many others, because of the promise, finally, of a live-action Bebop and Rocksteady, and not to mention Kraang as well. I went in actually optimistic about the Turtles and their chances of making a fun romp of a summer movie. Boy, was that foolish. Let's start at the heart of any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. The Turtles, of course. The designs of them worked pretty well, I thought, and it was interesting to see how each one's gear displayed their personalities. From Donatello's gadgets to Mikey's hoverboard. These things were just small details, but I found myself looking over every detail, although this was mostly due to the surrounding movie. Now, Leonardo is the leader of the Turtles, and that's pretty much his only character trait. Wait, sorry, that's not true. Leo is a terrible leader. There we go. He regularly lies to his team, he never communicates, and he doesn't really understand how to use his brother's strengths particularly well. Not to mention, any time their mission fails, he pawns the blame off on everyone else but himself and throws his whole team into disarray. Like when the Turtles are running through the police station, and Leo and Donnie just bust down the window, show up, and exposing everybody. But all the blame goes right on to Raph, of course. It's not like he could have maybe made it out of there without getting spotted if somebody hadn't broken down that window and made a whole scene of it. Or when he gets in the way of everyone else in the river when they keep trying to recover the really important thingy that everybody wants. Overall, Leo just kind of felt like a mess, and he really wasn't the leader that I thought he was supposed to be. Mikey is Mikey. I mean, he's adequate at doing exactly that. It's all there. The pizza, the jokes, the skateboarding, it's all fine. He did what he's asked. He's really just there to be the comic relief, and for the young kids anyways. Raph is Raph too. Not too much change to these characters since their inception. He's a hothead and he brings the muscle. And since it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, there's a Raph versus Leo storyline midway through. It's not like we haven't seen that every time. Raph does get to have a cool motorcycle stealing scene though, during the Shredder escape, but that's one of the few standout action moments he's given. Besides when he's actually jumping out of the plane and he's actually given a little bit of character since he's the one who's actually scared, unlike the rest of them. Donatello actually comes out looking like the best of the Turtles. He's clearly the most vital to the team. After all, he builds all of their tech and drives their garbage truck vehicle as well. He also seems to have the closest relationship with April, and one that was actually mutual, unlike Mikey's creepy thing with her. They all met the bare minimum standard of being the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is really all this movie was interested in. Look no further than Splinter to confirm that. Splinter is really only in this for maybe 4 scenes, and it's all stuff we've seen him do before. First of all, the Turtles interrupt his meditation and he falls over. Check. Then someone challenges him physically and he whoops them in a second and makes a quippy comment about being a ninja. Check. Then he offers sage advice about teamwork and family to Leo. Check. I mean, I've seen all these things from him plenty of times, but here they are recycled on screen once again. That's a real theme in this entire movie. Apparently, when they decided they would finally give in and go for some of the crazier elements of this universe, it was only if they could throw out the same old everything else without any real ingenuity or change. The dialogue alone sounds like they just copy-pasted from the most generic TV movies and first draft scripts they could get their hands on. They spew things that sound good, but you know should have been at least a little bit more polished. Whether it's Casey Jones telling everyone he meets, "I want to be a New York detective," or pretty much anything Tyler Perry says, like, "Let's use the teleportation device to rescue Sensei Shredder." There are countless moments that just could have been actually compelling if they just, found a thesaurus laying around the office or something. As far as sidekicks go, Will Arnett is mostly sidelined with a few little funny bits and some interactions with NBA players, which is weird, but they didn't really push me one way or the other. April was at least active in her investigation and had moments where she used her sex to her advantage. At least she wasn't harassed nearly as much by Mikey in this movie. Casey Jones wasn't really the Casey I know, but this is sort of an origin story for him. He said some of the most laughable things I've heard in a long time. But at least he got a little action scene with his hockey mask on before he never put it on again. Regarding the action in this action movie, it could not have been plainer. That is, if you can see what's happening at all. Most of the time the camera's too close or too out of focus or pointed at the wrong things. It's hard to even comprehend what's on screen, let alone what everyone else is doing. The biggest action set pieces in the sequel are the prison escape, which we have all seen before and seen it done much better. The plane jumping sequence, which is actually electric, if not absolutely ridiculous. And the river sequence, which also happens. It's hard to really be in awe on any of these set pieces, though, because nothing we're seeing is really real or has any stakes to it. No one really uses any of their weapons. It looks good, there's just no weight to it. Even in the final battle, when the turtles are all fighting Kraang, nothing new is really being shown to us aside from some spinny robot arms, which I'm sure you've seen in every video game you've played. And that's truly what's the most frustrating thing. The turtles hardly ever use any of their weapons, too. I mean, I don't even know if Mikey's nunchucks are used or what they even look like. Leo's swords must be glued to his shell because they don't come out of there near enough. Same goes for Donnie's bow staff and Raph's knives, if he even has them. None of them are really used, which is a shame because this is one of the few unique things that the Turtles have over every other franchise this summer and every other summer. If they could have put real effort into these ninja battles and weapon combat, they may have actually had some standout moments in these action sequences, rather than just noise and CGI being jammed into our face from 4 feet away. So let's dive into the big draws for this movie. The villains. Shredder is back and broken out of prison in one of the most cliched and dumb breakouts in history. I mean, Casey is basically the audience when he's saying how stupid it is that nobody loaded the shotgun prior to prison transfer, which doesn't make it better, by the way, guys. But before the Turtles can stop the escape, Shredder is teleported to Kraang in one of the most mishandled reveals ever. He shows up in the background and out of frame for most of the scene. We're looking at his back. There's no big swell from the score, nothing. He's just there, and then boom, exposition time. And once he's finished explaining that he wants some random alien tech so he can destroy Earth, he's gone again. And we don't see him until the very big fight sequence in the third act again. So till then, we're stuck with Shredder, who just walks around with his gear and doesn't wear his helmet and scratches up everyone's coffee tables, which is not a cool move. But don't worry, we also have Lady Ninja, who is almost as big a waist as Lex's sidekick in BVS. But at least Lady Ninja gets a fight scene. Albeit it's a crappy one where she's defeated by Will Arnett and April with a hubcap. Oh, and don't forget Tyler Perry. Now, I still don't know why he wanted to rescue Shredder, but he was pretty unbearable to watch most of the time. Whether he was throwing out random science-y mumbo-jumbo or just making fun of stereotypes by wearing the thickest glasses on planet Earth and giving nerds all around the world a terrible name. So Urkel and Knifey Hands team up to mutate our last two villains into Bebop and Rocksteady. Now, I'll say this. These two really work well together. Their camaraderie was one of the saving graces. Although it's because these two are just aggressively stupid that it is hard to really watch them and enjoy them. Whether it's blowing up their own plane or locking themselves in a crate to beat themselves at the end of the movie with a grenade. They're just some of the biggest dummies ever, and they certainly leaned in. Unfortunately, these two are some of the best parts of the movie. At least they're enjoying themselves, and they're crazy enough to fit into this world. But like the rest of this movie, they're really only half-baked characters in a half-baked movie. So at the end, Shredder collects the pieces of 8 or whatever and shows up to team up with Kraang, who immediately imprisons him. Which was actually pretty funny since it just showed what a joke Shredder was this whole movie. I mean, he never even had an action sequence. Then Kraang goes to work on building his ship piece by piece as it comes through the Skygina. But the Turtles show up and punch him for a bit, till he's too tired to fight, I guess. Even though he could have kept throwing robot parts at him till the sun went down. So blah blah blah, the Turtles win, yay, New York, yay, family, Splinter smile. That's a wrap, boom, it's over. These things really have become routine. Every summer, every movie, city or a world is at stake, and every time it's not really, and everyone's happy and safe by the end. But if that's every movie, then it really is tough to stand out and make an impression other than just doing the routine. And that truly is this movie's downfall, because it is more than content to be as routine as possible. So there you go, guys. I think you can pretty much wrap up what my thoughts are on this one. If I assigned it a grade, it'd probably be around a 4.3 out of 10. I didn't really enjoy myself that much in the movie, as I said. But if you like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you probably will like this movie. I mean, it certainly didn't do anything new with them, so you don't really need to see it. But it does give us a live-action Bebop, Rocksteady, and Kraang, which was interesting, if not underdeveloped. Well, anyways, thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy more of what I do. Check out other videos I've done before. Please leave a like or subscribe or a comment in the bottom. I'll be coming back with more movie reviews and more Game of Thrones power rankings soon. Till then, Movie Mammoth signing out. Thank you.